Great for everyone here and everyone on the line here. Good afternoon. This is a great day. There was a storm that just rolled through here, and like the storm of the Trump administration, that storm has passed, and we have clear skies outside, and it's a clear day here. I'm Chris Knopf, the Executive Director of Friends of the Boundary Waters Wilderness, and today the Biden administration took a huge step to protecting the boundary waters and the clean water that all of us love here in Minnesota. Behind me, you see the map of the boundary waters, and this is what we're working to protect. And we're also working to protect it for everyone that enjoys it. So this is about people enjoying the wilderness as well as protecting just the wilderness. And so what the Biden administration has done, it has announced that it plans to withdraw mineral leases from 225,000 acres at the edge of the boundary waters, adjacent to it. So that what that will do is that will, if that is finalized, that would protect the boundary waters watershed from toxic sulfide mining. So toxic sulfide mining, what happens in that type of mining, sulfuric acid is created. And so that is the big step the Biden administration has taken. There will be public comments on that over a period of several weeks. Before that's finalized. But this is a clear signal for the Biden administration to protect the boundary waters. And this has been a real effort of so many people at the federal level, especially Betty McCollum has been the champion for making this happen. Representative Betty McCollum from St. Paul, her office is just down the street here, and many people at the state level. And I'll introduce one of those, State Representative Jim Davnie from Minneapolis, who's one of our Boundary Waters champions. But it's been so many elected officials placing the pressure. In addition to Jim Davnie, there are too many for me to list, or I'll forget their names here. But we have over 60 sponsors of important state legislation that takes it in the next step. And that's why we have the Prove It First sign behind us. So the next step is to have a Prove It First law that would protect all Minnesota's waters, not just the boundary waters, but Lake Superior, the Mississippi, all the watersheds from toxic sulfide mining. And this Prove It First law is very simple. It basically says Minnesota shouldn't be a guinea pig. And so on that law, it would require an applicant for one of these toxic mines to first prove that this type of mining has been done safely elsewhere in the United States for at least 10 years and has been closed for 10 years without causing pollution. If those mines can't make that proof, then they can't operate here in Minnesota. So that would stop twin metals, that would stop polymet, that would stop any of the other several applicants for these toxic sulfide mines from doing that. So what the Biden administration has done at the federal level is an important first step to protecting the boundary waters, an important step. Well, it's still in the courts right now, but it sets the stage for stopping twin metals as well. So this is a great day for Friends of the Boundary Waters Wilderness. We are so grateful for all the citizens and supporters out there that are the strength of our organization and make this happen. And we are grateful for that. As I mentioned, this is a team effort, of many organizations, many individuals, many elected officials. And so when you get in a canoe, if you're not solo paddling, you're doing it as a group. But I'm going to hand the paddle off. We have our Friends of the Boundary Waters Wilderness paddle here. And so I'm going to hand this paddle off because we have Jim Davnie, State Representative Jim Davnie, is one of those who has his paddle in the water to protect the boundary water. So Jim, there you go.
All right.
Let's go ahead there.
Chris, thank you very much. Good afternoon. As Chris indicated, I'm Representative Jim Davnie. I have the privilege of representing District 63A in the Minnesota House of Representatives. Let me start today by congratulating you, Chris. Friends of the Boundary Waters, your entire staff team, for all the work that they've put in for over the years to protect this crown jewel of Minnesota, the Boundary Waters Wilderness Canoe Area that we as Minnesotans have a particular connection to and a responsibility to protect. Today's a good day. Congratulations. Let me extend that congratulations to the thousands of Minnesotans and people across the country, and in fact around the world, who look to the boundary waters as that special place worthy of protection, our responsibility, our inheritance, who advocated with the Biden administration to return environmental policy to being science-based. The last administration pulled the plug on a study that would talk to us about the threats that toxic sulfide mining places against the waters and lands of northern Minnesota. There's no reason to be afraid of the research. There's no reason to be afraid of the science. Our responsibility as citizens, our responsibilities as inheritors of this special place is to lean into that research, follow that research, and protect the lands and waters. Prove It First does that because we know that toxic sulfide mining, when done in dry environments around the world, leads to environmental damage. It's never been attempted in water-rich environments such as is being proposed in northern Minnesota. And that's the risk that this sort of mining takes. Minnesota's environmental regulations are not attuned to this type of mining. We need legislation that is simple and common sense, that, as Chris described, simply says to mining companies, prove it first. Show me that you've done this elsewhere and you've done it safely while the mine was operating, and critically, that you've done it safely after the mine has been retired. If you can't show me you can do it safely, then Minnesota should not be forced to let you do it at all. It's common sense legislation that, in fact, is based on what had been statute in our neighboring state of Wisconsin. They understood, they acted, we should do the same. This action today by the Biden administration is strong and bold and important, but the work's not done. We've got more work to do on the federal level as citizens and advocates and organizations. We've got more work to do on the Minnesota level. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. The panel's back here. We welcome questions here, and Pete, if there are some things we should cover here, we're kind of grateful. Any questions? And for folks on the line, if you have some questions as well, please, please speak. You can unmute yourselves. You can unmute yourselves, and we can answer your questions here. So, any questions here?
Just to be so it's crystal clear. Now, this is not reinstituting today the announcement, the 20-year moratorium. But explain to me about this 2-year study and how that relates to a timeline to the moratorium. Am I misreading?
No, you're exactly right. So the question is there, how does the 2-year study on the impact of toxic sulfide mining relate to the moratorium here? And so what we have here is a 2-year study that had been initiated in January of 2017, and the plug was pulled by the Trump administration. And so what the Biden administration is announcing today is that it is going to have a 20-year moratorium subject to the findings of this study. And so that study is going to be completed and would provide the basis for that moratorium. And so there will be a public comment period here. It's either here it's like 30 days or 90 days, but there will be a public comment period that will also be part of the process before it's finalized.
And essentially restarts the 2-year study on the moratorium. Is that correct? It restarts the study, but it also is bolder than that. It also says that the Biden administration intends to have a 20-year moratorium in the Boundary Waters watershed there.
Good.
Do you have any questions on that? You have it recorded there. Any questions from your end here? Are there folks on the line there that have some questions? Please go ahead with your questions here.
This is Ashley Hackett from MinPost. I have a question about the environmental review process that Twin Metals has already been undergoing. Does this announcement stop the environmental review process, or does it just stop things at a federal level? And so essentially, will the environmental review process that they're already undergoing, will that continue through this?
Sure, great question. Thank you, Ashley. So the question is, well, what impact does today's announcement have on the environmental review process for Twin Metals? And so there are a couple things here. Right now, we are in litigation. We have a lawsuit to protect the boundary waters. That lawsuit is against the federal government. It's also and Twin Metals is part of that lawsuit. And so that legal process is still going on. It is our hope that as part of that process, that the illegally reinstated mineral leases that the Trump administration did, that were reinstated and renewed, will be vacated. And if that happens, then this moratorium would apply to Twin Metals. But that remains part of the litigation process right now. And so that's sort of the status. It remains in litigation. If we're successful in that litigation, this moratorium would apply to Twin Metals, and we would stop Twin Metals from polluting the boundary waters.
Oh, but if not,
Please speak up there. I welcome your questions here. There. Well, this is another, again, it's a great day for all of us at Friends of the Boundary Waters Wilderness. It's a great day for all the elected officials and all the citizens that have stood up for the boundary waters for so many years. We have a lot more work to do. We have the Prove It First law to pass here in Minnesota that would provide protection for all of Minnesota's waters here from toxic sulfide mining. And we have some balloons in the back here. We're gonna have a celebration this afternoon here, and we're going to and we're grateful for all of you that have been part of this. Feel free to reach out to us here at Friends of the Boundary Waters Wilderness for more questions. We'll answer your questions, any further questions at any other time. So again, thank you for Representative Jim Davnie here from Minneapolis. We're grateful for your leadership and energy for so many years on this issue. We're grateful. We look forward to getting the ball over the goal line here for all of Minnesota's waters.
Thanks, Chris. I have one question for the representative.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Is this legislation that you are proposing for this session, or what's its status as of right now?
Yes, introduced it in January of this year with a long list of co-authors, both in the House and the Senate.
Back up. Will it be on the floor of this session? Will it be taken up?
I can't promise on path, but it is eligible, a 2-year cycle, so it's eligible in the 2022 session for consideration. Yes.
Great. Again, thank you for all of you that are here. We're grateful for that, and we're grateful for everyone on the line here. Have a great afternoon and celebrate this wonderful day. Thanks. Thank you so much.